Hello everyone. Welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day before starting the video. Please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Did you check into General Hospital today? Friday, May 9th, 2025? If not, here is the recap below for your enjoyment. Instead of just contemplating adoption, Brooklyn Quartermain, Amanda Seton, and Harrison Chase, Josh Swickard, have decided to take some action. They scheduled a meeting with Alexis Davis, Nancy Lee Grahn, to go over some of their options. Brooklyn was relieved when Alexis told her that giving up a child for adoption in the past doesn't prevent you from being able to adopt later in life. Alexis also wants them to know that they need patience, because adopting a child may take a long time. Lulu Spencer, Alexa Havens, has put Rocco Falconeri, Finn Carr, to work, cleaning the big old house that she just bought. She was just on the phone looking for information on L&B records from the 90s when Danny Morgan, Asher Anthonyson, stops in to visit Rocco. But first, he has to deal with Lulu. He tells her exactly what happened at the PCU party and apologizes for bringing Rocco along. She eventually calls Rocco downstairs and then puts them both to work. She says that she has a meeting and gives them a chore list before leaving. Danny then apologizes to Rocco, but Rocco is holding himself accountable for his own choices. Dante Falconeri, Dominic Zamprogna, confronts Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, about his lack of parenting. He thinks that Jason isn't around enough, and that is why Danny and Rocco went to the college party. Dante tells Jason to his face that he doesn't think much of him as a father, and then leaves. Lois Cerullo, Rena Sofer, overhears a bit and tells Jason not to take the conversation to heart. Jason says that Dante is right. He has missed a lot of Danny's life. And if he hadn't been helping Sonny Corinthos, Maurice Bernard, the other night, then there may never have been a crisis. Jason realizes that he is Danny's only parent now, and that he is going to need to make some changes. Dante visits Lulu's to check on everyone, and he is much nicer to both boys. He tells Rocco and Danny that as brothers, they need to watch out for each other. Lois walks in raving about the house, and then she and Dante immediately apologize to each other for their harsh words the other night. Sasha Corbin, Sophia Matson, is at GH for a checkup and asks for a different nurse once. Willow Corinthos, Caitlin McMullen, appears in her room. Willow suggests that they call a truce and start over because they are going to be family once Sasha has her baby. She starts to trash Willow and is silenced once she learns that Willow traveled to Germany to meet with Michael and was turned away. She tells Sasha that she tried to fix her family, and Michael refused to see her. Sasha points out that Michael is probably furious now after seeing Willow stand by Drew Kane, Cameron Matheson. Willow gets frustrated and agrees to get Sasha a different nurse. When Sasha finally returns home to the Q's, she tells Jason that Michael refused to see Willow. Tracy Quartermain, Jane Elliott, just wrapped up a meeting with Jen's Sidwell, Carlo Rhoda, and Curtis Ashford's Donald Turner curiosity about it has gotten the better of him, so he approaches her. Curtis takes a seat and understands why Tracy wants to take Sonny down, but why also take down Laura Collins, Jeannie Francis? Tracy isn't targeting the mayor exactly, but she feels that her family has suffered enough because of Sonny. Ned Quartermain, Wally Kurth, arrives and says that he doesn't agree with what Tracy is doing. Curtis suggests that everyone knows Sonny. Meanwhile, Sidwell is rumored to be connected to even worse things, making him even more dangerous. Ned eventually joins Lulu at another table. He reassures her that Laura, her mother, will have his vote. Lulu then swings the conversation towards Ned's music career years ago. She starts fishing for a timeline for BLQ's baby, and Ned volunteers that she missed half of her senior year to be out on the road with Lois. Drew stops in at GH to wreak his daily dose of havoc on Portia Robinson's Brooke Kerr life. He now wants Portia to talk Curtis into turning on Laura. Wants her to talk her husband into using Aurora to blow up Sonny's life and Laura's mayoral position. Portia pushes back because there is no way that she can get Curtis to do it. Drew plays on her emotions and says that if not for Sunny, Cyrus Renault would never have come to town and traumatized her daughter. Meanwhile, Curtis bumps into Willow in the hallway, and she thanks him for being fair to Drew with his coverage. He says that Aurora isn't a tabloid, so they stay neutral. But ketamine is a big party drug that lots of people take too much of. Willow insists that Drew was drugged. Curtis then visits Portia and tells her about his chat with Willow. He says he is also planning an expose on the dangers of ketamine coming up soon. Sidwell and Jordan Ashford, Tanisha Harper, visit Sunny and make him an offer that might be too good to pass up. Sidwell offers to buy the piers that Sunny owns. If he does so, Laura will likely take the referendum off the ballot because there is no longer a need for it. Sunny gets richer, his connection to Laura is broken, and Sidwell gets what he wants. After they leave, Jason arrives, and Sunny tells him about the offer and says that he is considering it. Port Charles simmered under a tense spring sun on May 9th as secrets unraveled, alliances shifted, and unexpected propositions sent ripples through the lives of its most vulnerable residents. From Jason's turning point to Sasha and Lulu's fierce, emotional showdown, the day proved that in Port Charles, nothing stays buried for long. Jason Morgan, a man at a crossroads. The day opened with Jason Morgan standing alone on the pier, staring out over the harbor like a man trying to glimpse his past in the water's reflection. Dressed in his familiar black, but with something softer in his expression, Jason looked less like a mob enforcer and more like a man wrestling with purpose. The conversation with Sunny Corinthos the night before still weighed heavily on his mind. Sunny had offered him a way back into the organization. Quiet work, no flashy violence, just strategic moves. But Jason didn't answer then. Today he was closer to clarity. Enter Carly, always the compass of Jason's soul. She found him there, and didn't waste time sugarcoating. "You've been back months now, Jason," she said, voice low. "You need to figure out who you are without Sunny, or decide if you're willing to lose yourself all over again." Jason admitted he'd been reconsidering everything, especially since Danny and Scout were asking more questions, needing more time, craving more of him. "I'm tired, Carly," he confessed. "I want to live, not just survive. I want to be a father." Later, a surprise visit from Michael reinforced that desire. Michael brought Wiley to the coffee warehouse, formerly a place of intimidation and shadows. Watching his grandson toddle across the concrete floor, Jason couldn't ignore the gnawing realization. This wasn't where children should play. "This ends with me," Jason murmured. In a decisive move, Jason made a call to Diane. He wanted to talk about a clean break, not just from the mob, from everything that kept pulling him back. The Sidwell situation, temptation. Wrapped in silk meanwhile at the Metro Court, the enigmatic businessman Grant Sidwell made waves with another power play, this time targeting Nina Reeves. Sidwell, always charming with just the right hint of menace, invited Nina to brunch under the guise of discussing Crimson's next editorial campaign. Instead, he placed a sleek envelope on the table and slid it toward her. "I want Crimson," Sidwell said flatly, "but I want you to run it, with full creative control, under me." Nina blinked. "You want to buy Crimson but keep me on as the editor?" Sidwell smiled. "Crimson's voice is you, but it needs the kind of backing only I can offer. Expansion, global reach, New York, London, Tokyo. Your vision, without limits," Nina was intrigued but suspicious. Why her? Why now? His answer was simple. "Because you're the queen of reinvention, and I know you're ready for your next act." She didn't give him an answer, yet. But Sidwell left her with the taste of ambition on her tongue and the envelope full of opportunity in her hand. Lulu versus Sasha. A battle of truths and trauma. The most emotionally charged moments of the episode unfolded at GH, where two women, bound by grief and survival, clashed in ways that left lasting damage. Lulu Spencer had returned from her long recovery with renewed clarity, but also with questions. She'd been catching up on everything she missed while in her coma, including the complicated unraveling of Sasha Gilmore's life. And now, Lulu wanted to interview Sasha for The Invader. Sasha agreed reluctantly, thinking it would be a piece, but Lulu's questions quickly cut deeper. "Do you believe the baby's death broke you?" Lulu asked, notebook poised. Sasha flinched. "Excuse me?" "You spiraled after Liam, drugged, manipulated, arrested on live TV. But now you're launching a recovery foundation. Don't you think the public deserves transparency before trusting you with that cause?" The air thickened. Sasha's face hardened. "Are you asking for transparency or retribution?" Lulu didn't back down. "I'm asking for honesty." "You speak about recovery like it's a brand, Sasha. But have you forgiven yourself? Or are you performing healing to avoid the real work?" Sasha stood abruptly. "We all cope in different ways. I didn't have the luxury of sleeping through my trauma like you." A slap of silence. Lulu's jaw clenched, and for a moment she looked like she might cry or lunge. "You're right," she said finally, voice thin with restraint. "But when I woke up, my children were older, my world was different, and I still showed up. I didn't hide behind a foundation. I rebuilt my life." The two women stared at each other, wounded, wary, unwilling to yield. The interview ended then. No story written, but volumes spoken. Outside the room, Maxie had overheard just enough to know things were spiraling. "You're both trying to climb out of the same pit," she whispered, more to herself than anyone. "Maybe don't bury each other on the way up." Curtis and Portia, fault lines. Reopen in the midst of the Jason and Sasha headlines. Another. Quieter storm brewed at the Ashford Robinson household. Curtis, still adjusting to life post-injury, had begun questioning his next steps. Portia noticed. "You're distracted again," she said, arms crossed, as Curtis stared at a property development proposal on his tablet. "I've been thinking about something," Curtis admitted. "The Savoy isn't enough anymore. I want to create something legacy-driven." Portia frowned. "You mean real estate?" "Community housing," Curtis corrected. "Job training centers. But I can't fund it alone." When he mentioned reaching out to Selena Wu for investment capital, Portia's reaction was swift and sharp. "You are not dragging our family back into her orbit." Curtis promised he'd tread carefully, but the damage was done. Portia now doubted whether they were on the same page about the future. And Trina, walking in on the tail end of the argument, silently made a note. Something in this house was starting to fracture. Closing beats. Echoes of change. As the episode closed, several characters were caught in moments of transformation. Brooke Lynn received a text from Chase. "Dinner later? I miss you." She smiled, but her face fell as she looked at her latest composition, lyrics that didn't feel like hers. Something inside her felt off, and she couldn't quite name it. Elizabeth Weber looked over old family photos and found one of her and Jason, laughing, rare and real. She picked up the phone, started a text, then deleted it. Anna Devane received an anonymous dossier on Grant Sidwell. Attached was a single line. "He isn't who he says he is." And Jason, after his call with Diane, walked back to the pier and sat alone again. This time he didn't look out over the water. He looked up, into the sky, and allowed himself for the first time in years to imagine what freedom might feel like. Final thoughts. May 9th's General Hospital was a masterclass in emotional complexity. Jason's introspective journey promises a major life shift, while Sidwell's offer tempts Nina with ambition and risk. The blistering face-off between Sasha and Lulu wasn't just drama. It was a sobering look at how trauma scars in different shapes, and in the cracks forming across couples like Curtis and Portia, or Elizabeth's buried regrets, we see the theme of the episode clearly. The past always echoes, but the future is what you choose to build. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our GH News 24 YouTube channel for more update news.